Week 1, Giants, Cowboys. It's right around the corner. Sunday Night Football. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to take down the Cowboys. Let's go, Big Blue. If you are excited for Week 1, Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys, I need you right now to hit that thumbs up icon. Like this video if you are ready for Week 1. $53-man roster projection. That's what we got going on today's video as you are tuned in to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. With preseason game number 3 just around the corner, I wanted to map out a roster projection. Following week 3, and before we get into Sunday Night Football, I'm going to give you my final 53-man roster projection, but this is where it sits right now. Let's start with the quarterbacks. Unfortunately for Tommy DeVito, I do not see him making this roster. I do believe he will be added to the practice squad, so I have the Giants keeping 2 quarterbacks, Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. Those are the 2 guys I think the Giants keep under center. Let's go to running backs. I think the Giants will keep, maybe I don't think the Giants will keep 4 running backs, but I want the Giants to keep 4 running backs. Barkley and Breida are locks. But there is no way you can tell me that Jashaun Corbin, after what he did against the Panthers and the Lions, does not deserve to make this football team. Because Corbin has been the best Giants running back in preseason so far. And if Eric Gray was a UDFA and Jashaun Corbin was a 5th-round pick, he would make the team. And I don't want to deal with politics. Best players make the team. So I have 4 running backs making it. Barkley, Breida, Gray, and Jashaun Corbin. Let's go to the tight ends. Darren Waller is going to make it. Daniel Bellinger is going to make it. You can make the argument or make the point, and I agree with you, that 3 guys will only make the roster at the tight end position. But I saw something on Friday night that changed my opinion. It makes me believe the Giants could keep 4 tight ends. They ran a lot of 3 tight end sets. And if I'm going to have 3 tight ends on the football field, and 2 of them are Darren Waller and Daniel Bellinger, I want that 3rd guy to be more of a blocker. And Sweeney is a much better blocker than Lawrence Cager at this point. Cager is somewhat of your Kmart version, Dollar Tree version of Darren Waller. So he could do some of those things he can, but I don't necessarily want Cager as my 3rd player, 3rd tight end in the field as an inline blocker. So I have Cager and Sweeney making the team. Maybe both don't make it, and Chris Myrick is your 3rd tight end. But I see Myrick being a practice squad guy, and I see him being called up and down the roster, especially if they only keep 3 guys. Let's go to the receiver position. This one has been the most talk of the town. I have the Giants keeping 7 wide receivers. It's a lot. No doubt about it. It's honestly a little bit too much for me. But just reading the tea leaves, people I've talked to, sounds like they're going to keep 7. That's going to be Slayton, Hodgins, Campbell, Hyatt, Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Beasley. There's been talk that Wan'Dale Robinson may start the season on the PUP list. But now it sounds like he's going to be ready to go, and he won't start the season on the PUP. But even if he's not ready to go week 1, and let's say he's ready to go week 3, he still will be on the active roster and not on the PUP. So I believe 7 guys. Slayton, Hodgins, Campbell, Hyatt, Shepard, Robinson, and Beasley. I think Crowder is out. I think, unfortunately, Bryce Ford-Wheaton is out. I think he'll go to the P squad. I think Colin Johnson is almost out. You may ask, Marshall, why is Cole Beasley making this roster? I'll give you this reason. The Giants wanted to sign him last year. He has a good relationship with Brian Daboll and Joe Shane. And the day after the Giants signed him in training camp, he was having reps with the first offense. Why would you have a 30-plus-year-old Cole Beasley running with your first offense and taking reps away from young guys if he wasn't going to make the team? That makes no sense. So I'm penciling Cole Beasley in. I've got the Giants keeping 7 wide receivers. How many do you think they are going to keep? Is it 6? Is it 7? Could they go all the way up to 8? Let me know what you think. It's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So let me know how many wide receivers the Giants are going to keep right now as you get hit with that YouTube ad break. From receivers to offensive line. This one was tough. Andrew Thomas is going to make it. Josh Ezeudu is going to make it. Ben Bredeson is going to make it. John Michael Schmitz is going to make it. Gawinski, McKeithen, and Evan Neal are going to make it. That's 7 guys right there. I think the Giants are going to keep 9. I think it's going to be Matt Peart, who I thought really struggled on Friday night. Not the biggest fan of him, but you need a swing tackle. And Tyree Phillips, who's currently battling with injuries, I still expect him to make this roster. And that means I have Shane Lemieux, Wyatt Davis, and Corey Cunningham on the outside looking in. We're done with the offense. Let's switch to the defense. The big boys up front, the big fellas, the interior. Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Jashaun Robinson, Raheem Nunez-Roches, and Jordan Riley. Those are the 5 guys I think that they keep at the interior. And then I've got a 6th spot for Jihad Ward, who can play the interior. He can line up on the edge. He can even be a stand-up edge rusher. He could do a little bit of everything. So I have the Giants keeping 6 guys on the defensive front and only 4 guys at the outside linebacker. I believe Thibodeau and Ojulari are locks. That's not breaking news. But I believe the 3rd best edge rusher for the Giants this preseason is Tommen Fox. Had 2 pressures on Friday against the Panthers. Almost had a sack against the Lions. And in the UDFA, Baldonado has looked good. I'm not a fan of O'Shane Ximines. And I love the heart and the effort that Tayshaun Bauer plays with. This doesn't have enough juice, doesn't have enough skill, can't bend the edge to make this football team. So I have them keeping 4 guys. If anything is different, I think Baldonado could be practice squad and Ximines could be a part of this 4. But I'd rather roll with these 4. Let's go to the inside linebacker position. I would have liked to keep all 5 of these guys, but it's a numbers game, and unfortunately, you can only keep so many guys. And for that reason, I have Cam Brown on the outside looking in. The reason I chose Carter Coughlin over Cam Brown, as both are special team specialists, is because Coughlin can actually give you some juice at the off-ball linebacker spot compared to Brown, who's really just a special team specialist. That gives you Okereke, McFadden, Beavers, and Coughlin as the 4 guys you keep at the inside linebacker position. Cornerbacks we go. I have Adoree Jackson for sure. I'm very curious to see how much Adoree Jackson is going to play at that slot position this year. Sounds like he's going to do it week 1. He'll be matched up with CeeDee Lamb, and you'll have the rookie Deonte Banks and Trey Hawkins on the outside. Cordell Flott, he's a lock to make this roster. Nick McLeod is a lock to make this roster. And I used to have Darnay Holmes on the outside looking in, but with Aaron Robinson starting on the pup, I think Darnay Holmes is going to make this football team. That could change. Maybe it's a contract restructure. As cutting him, they'd save $2 million. Maybe they cut his salary down like they did for Darius Slayton last year. But these are the 6 corners I have them keeping. Robinson to the pup. Maybe they activate him and then cut Holmes. And then Amani Oruwariye, I believe, is out. So from corners to safeties, the last position we will talk about before we get to the special teams specialists. I would have liked to keep all 5 because I do believe having a veteran like Bobby McCain helps a young guy like Belton and helps a young guy like Javarius Owens. And McCain right now might actually be a better down-in, down-out football player than Javarius Owens. But Owens flies all over the field, and he pops off the screen for me when I watch him. I just think he has a little bit more pop right now than McCain. He's younger, and he has a higher ceiling as McCain is on the outside looking in and on the backside of his career. That gives you McKinney, Pinnock, Belton, and Owens. That's 4 safeties. I also included Nick McLeod in the corners. As we know, McLeod is the Swiss Army knife for Wink Martindale in this defense. He could play outside corner, slot corner, as well as safety, or in the box as a safety. So those are all the position players that we have kept. And the 3 specialists for the Giants will be Graham Gano. Honestly, I don't mean to be mean to Mr. Jamie Gillen. I hope the Giants cut Jamie Gillen and they go out and they sign a punter in free agency. I think Gillen is not good, to be quite frank. I think he's terrible. Consistently out-punting the coverage. One of the worst coffin corner kickers I've ever seen. And if I see him punt from enemy territory into the end zone one more time, my head might blow off. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of sacrificing field position because our kicker just can't kick the damn ball out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Also, long snapper, Casey Kreider. That's my 53-man roster projection. I want you to grade it for me. Grade my 53-man roster projection. Back to school from 1 to 100. 1 being it's the worst thing you ever saw. You're going to block me and never watch this channel again. Or 100 being it's perfect. And Marsh, you should take Joe Shane's job. Let me know what you think. Grade my 53-man roster projection down in the comment section. Remember, guys, you can also follow me over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. When the Giants start to make cuts and they start to trim the fat on this roster, that's not nice to say. I just like that saying. Trim the fat. Cut the fat. But when the Giants start to cut down this roster, I will be letting you guys know first over on my Twitter. So give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_.